So tonight I just watched the horror sci-fi film known as Iron Lung, which is written, directed and starring Mark Fischbach. So this film is his feature directorial debut and is based on the 2022 video game of the same name. The plot follows a convict named Simon who is forced to pilot a submarine through a desolate moon's ocean of blood, after an event known as the Quiet Rapture caused the majority of humanity and the stars to disappear without warning. This film clocks in about 2 hours and 5 minutes long, and first of all I'm going to go over the positives of the film. What's nice and should be applauded is that this film is already a financial success. It's only a $3 million budget and it's made about $21 million already. And once again, following last year, we have another YouTuber who's breaking out into the film industry, sharing their passion of movies on a new medium. And the sheer fact that this film is self-financed is very impressive. So on that level, I do think it genuinely deserves to be applauded. And also I'd like to give praise to the cinematography. I actually thought that part was actually very well done. A little bit like when we had last year with Chris Stuckman's movie, the way it's shot, I couldn't fault that in any way. Okay, so that's the positives out of the way. And honestly, I don't take great joy in taking a big dump on a movie, but that is kind of what I'm going to do here, because unfortunately, everything else in this film was very, very bad. I mean, I'd already classed this as probably one of the worst movies I'm ever likely to see this year, and the sheer fact is it's extremely boring to watch. As I already said, this film is about 2 hours long, and I can't for the life of me think why it's anywhere close to that runtime. But had it even just been an hour long, I still would have felt the same thing, because when it boils down to it, this movie is about you're watching someone who's in one room, which is a submarine, but it's just like a one-room submarine, for the entire duration of the film, or pretty much nearly the entire duration of the movie, and dealing for what feels like just a plumbing issue. There's leaks in the walls, things like that. There's not really any substance to this movie. There's not really anything really happening in it for the actor, or the character rather, to react against. The things that it is doing, it just keeps repeating over and over and over. And that's one of the things that really does affect the pacing of this movie. As far as the performance from the actor, I thought it was okay. I mean, you could kind of tell that maybe this guy might not have actually had any training as far as an actor's concerned, but I thought it was okay. I mean, it was quite one note throughout pretty much most of the movie, but it was okay. I'm just going to get into the way this movie started. It started with a monologue, and when I heard the monologue, it was kind of a bit cheesy. It was a little bit almost eye-roll inducing when I heard it. I don't know why, but that was how I reacted to it when I heard it. And for the information it told us, it didn't really tell us much to really get us into this world. There wasn't really any world building. And that's a real huge problem, because when we're going into such a bizarre world like this, I felt like we could have been given more information, so that way when we're seeing things happen around us, or we're hearing the character talk about certain things, we feel like we know what you're talking about. We can understand the dread of the situation that they're in, because anytime they were sort of shouting out or they were screaming out in terror of what sort of situation they're in, I just completely did not care, because I was largely lost. Now that happened a lot. In fact, the more the film went on, the more I got lost in this movie. And I think some of that could have been corrected by the setup of the movie. This film is deemed a horror movie, and I do also have a problem with that as well, in that it's not much of a horror film. It doesn't have any tension, it doesn't have any real scare. It has a mood to it, it has a somewhat atmosphere, but it keeps playing that same trick over and over and over and over. Constantly you see the camera cut to where you're seeing leaks in the walls, and then you've got this X-ray that at first I thought was quite effective, where it would flash up and you see an image of something, and then it would go dark and then it would flash up again, and you'd see that that image has moved. That was quite effective, but by the end of the film, I'd already seen that same flashing image, what felt like about 55 times, and it really started to grate on me. And I know I'm not the only person who have felt like this in the movie. Now, just to be completely honest, most people who came out of the viewing I was watching actually really enjoyed it, because I came out of it and I was talking about it in quite a negative way, because I was just sort of unpacking, that was all, just between me and my friend. But I know I could hear people look at us around like, what? You know, because they had a genuine great reaction to it. And I think a lot of them are fans of the game itself, or fans of Markiplier, or maybe even fans of just like to see the fact that we've got a YouTuber bringing a film like this to the big screen. That's all great and all, and maybe there are some people who just enjoyed this for a horror film. Okay, fair enough. But I did actually see there was one or two people actually leave. They walked out of the cinema during it, and I completely understand why. I felt really, really sleepy watching this film, as did my mate Rich as well. I turned to him and he had his eyes closed. And like I said, it's because of the fact that the runtime is so long and there's no substance to the movie. It just keeps repeating the same thing over and over and over for 2 hours. And when you're in one room with one actor, one character for most of that, it's not surprising that I had this sort of reaction to it. Now, just before I go into my rating, which is obviously very quite obvious, I do once again want to remind you of the positives I said at the beginning about the movie making process and the fact that we do have YouTubers making movies for the big screen. I think going forward that could be a great thing. But so far, from what we got from the YouTubers who've brought their films to the big screen, unfortunately it's not a good tentpole as a way forward for it, unfortunately. Maybe they might gradually get better and we might see something better in the future, but I think the ultimate thing, what it comes down to, is story. We really need the story, and I felt like also the editing as well could really have been shortened down as well for this film. So no surprise, my rating for this film, unfortunately, it's just a terrible film. I don't enjoy saying that, but that is my honest opinion on the movie. So guys, have you seen Iron Lung? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from the people who actually did enjoy this film, as well as obviously from the people just like myself who didn't have a positive experience. As always guys, if you do enjoy the content and you made it this far in the video, leave us a like and subscribe, and check out my other playlists, which include other movie reviews, movie rankings, movie locations, and lots more. I want to thank you again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.